Hi guys, Erin here, and this is the last screencast from me that you're going to have to listen to this semester. I know you're excited. I will try to make it brief, but the subject of this last screencast is the peer review that you'll be doing on the final paper. And the reason that I want to spend some time talking about that is because it's a significant portion of the points value of that final paper, right? So you can see here, I'm looking at the syllabus, in particular up there at the top. Right here, I'm looking at the section that talks about the final paper and where the points come from. So you already know most of this. You already know that you're writing an article-length research project. You already know that you're focusing explicitly on methods. We've been talking about them all semester. You already know that you're answering your research question and developing an argument. You already know that you're drawing on your annotated bibliography and your revised literature review to construct this final paper. And in fact, you already know that the final paper may not actually look like a completed article, right? You may not be able to do all the pieces of it, and that's fine. What serves as the final paper in this class could very well be a draft of something that you publish later. So if all the pieces aren't there yet, that's okay. Just make sure you're talking to me as you go along so that I know what I'm getting from you so that it's not unexpected. And then here's the part that I want to talk about in this screencast, which is that 5 of the 20 points on the final paper are coming from a peer review. Now, that's a fair amount of points, right? That's a quarter of the points on your final project. And the reason that I weighted that part so heavily is because being able to review a peer's work is a really important part of your professionalization as a technical communicator. It's really very, very important that you be able to not only look at somebody else's work and analyze and assess and evaluate it, but that you can also offer them constructive feedback. And this is something that's really rather difficult to do. It's very dependent on the situation. It's dependent on the person who's writing your evaluating and what their goal is and who their audience is. It's very much an art, right? So that's why it's so difficult. That's why I'm asking you to spend a significant amount of time on it, and that's why I've weighted it so heavily. So please remember that and be prepared to do that work. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this schedule here and talk some dates with you. You're listening to this screencast probably on or around November 18th. So you're not to the point yet where you have a draft that you can turn in to a peer, right? You're not to the point yet where you can actually do these peer evaluations. You have just turned in your literature review, and you will be getting feedback from me on that very soon if you haven't already. When I give you your feedback from your literature review, I will also be assigning you a partner to do your peer reviews with. And the reason for that is because I want to take that on. I want to do some extra work on my end to try to match people who I think will work well together, whether that's about the way that you write or whether it's about being able to complement one another's strengths and weaknesses, or maybe it's about a shared topic. But I do want to make that commitment to you guys. I want to put in some legwork on my end and try to pair you with somebody who's going to be a very productive partner for you. If I'm asking you to put in all this work on the peer review, which I am, then I want to make sure that I've set you up to do the most productive and useful peer review that you can do. So when you get your feedback from your literature review, which will be sometime the week of this week, November 18th, along with that feedback, I will write you a note telling you whose paper you should be reviewing and who will be reviewing yours. Now you'll notice that there is a discussion board. Here, I'll click over. Here's our Blackboard course. So this last discussion board in week 16 is to be used for peer reviewing. I am asking that you do your peer reviewing in this space so that it's public. So that helps you think about your audience. It also helps because other people can see what you're doing, right? So if somebody is doing something in peer review that's really useful, if you guys are having a smart conversation, that might help somebody else as well. So I am asking you to use this space for peer review. If you want to talk privately with your partner over email or whatever, obviously that's fine. Do what's going to be best for you. But if you don't mind, I would really like it if you would use this public space for at least part of the peer review, just so that we can all be learning from each other, because I think this class has been especially smart in that way throughout. Let me click back to the syllabus here. So what this means is that sometime this week you will know who you're doing your peer review with. As soon as you get that feedback from your literature review, you're probably going to turn it around very quickly and start revising and putting together that final paper. I'm guessing that you might have it together before the end of the week. I don't expect you to work over Thanksgiving break. Of course you can if you want. That's entirely up to you. And then the last week of class we are devoting to we're just spending it on that final paper, right? That's entirely devoted to peer review and revisions and whatever you need to do to make that final paper as good as it can be. So I do ask, notice here, I ask that you post your paper by 5 p.m. Wednesday of this week and give a peer review by 5 p.m. Thursday. That ensures that no matter what, you will have your peer review, right? You'll have notes from your peer in your hands 24 hours ahead of the deadline for the final paper. I am guessing that most of you will want more time. You are welcome to work that out with your peer in advance. So for example, instead of posting your paper by 5 p.m. Wednesday of week 16, you could post your paper in week 14, right? Or you could do it over Thanksgiving break. And you could post a peer review in week 14, or you could post it over Thanksgiving break or earlier in week 16. I don't care how you set up that timeline. I encourage you to set it up in a way that works best for you and your partner, but these are the absolute final dates. You must have your paper draft and your peer review posted to the discussion board by those dates so that I can see that you're being fair to your peers. When you turn in the final paper, what you turn in will be actually 2 documents. You will turn in the final paper itself, right? This is the polished, complete as you can get it in this semester version of your project, of your work. And in addition to that, you will turn in your review of a peer's paper. So this is the review that you wrote to a peer. So I will give you I will award you up to 15 points on the final paper itself, right? On the smart work you did in developing methodology and methods and working towards answering your research question in that final paper. And I will award you up to 5 points for the work you did to help a peer do a better job on their paper. Right, so on the constructive feedback you offer on how well you were able to address your peer as an audience and persuade them that they needed to do X, Y, or Z to make their paper better. So that's where that final grade will be coming from. When you do turn in those final files, because we had the discussion board going and because that's a space for works in progress, I'm asking you turn in those final files by emailing them to me at froste@ecu.edu, and that way I know when I get that email that you're ready to have this be graded, right? This is the final product, this is it, this is what is the culmination of all the hard work that you've done this semester. So please do remember, because I know we've been turning things in on the discussion boards throughout, but please do remember for this final turn-in order to ensure I'm grading the right thing, I want you to email it to me so that I have that record. All right. I guess this is the end of the final screencast, so if you have any questions about the peer review, please let me know. And other than that, I really look forward to reading your final papers. Thanks.